Good morning again, everyone. We're so excited that you're here joining us for DeepTarget's user group webinar, exclusive webinar, right, Helen?
That's right.
Right, for our users. And we've got a lot of, I think, some really great content. And big shout out to our customer case study who's going to join us today. And although everyone's muted, in just a minute, when we get to the case study, we'll open up the lines and bring in our special guests as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I want to remind everybody that I'm David Kingsbury. I run customer success here at DeepTarget, and I'm always open to conduct a review meeting with everyone or anyone that would like to. So I apologize for all of you guys I keep reaching out to about reviews, but it's a great way to share, listen to how your product and finding ways to better reach and engage your members. And I have with me the best sidekick in all the world, Helen Triplett.
Hey, good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Helen. So Helen runs our support team, our implementation team, and many other hats. She does a great job at that. I know many of you know her well. So let's go ahead and get started. And we're out today a couple of things. First of all, we want to, as we always do, we want to jump into some industry trends. And thank you, Dawn, for that shout out to Helen. Now I'm jealous. So there is we're going to talk about some industry trends, just some things and some great articles, give you some ideas of some reading for late night enjoyment. And then we want to run back over some tips and tricks. So as Helen and I have been doing some reviews with several of you, some of the components that really optimize responsiveness are being missed a little bit. We just want to run through them all quickly and give this webinar, since it's being recorded, is a resource for you to go back to as well, okay? And then we're so excited, Cascade Community Federal Credit Union is actually going to be our case study today. So we have, I won't go any further than that, but we're very excited with what they're doing. And so we're going to show you their results and turn that mic on for them to join us as well. And then finally, of course, we've got our ad of the month and our Superstar of the Month awards to give out. So yeah, right. Everybody, that's right. Go ahead and get started. First of all, for those of you who continue to join our webinars and in fact have heard a lot from us, we recommend that you target generations. Not always necessary, certainly, but we have noted and across the industry, there is a high level of responsiveness when you do target generations. And that's because we know that people like to see people think they look like in the ads with products that they are looking for. So that's very important too, right, Ellen?
That's right.
So just a reminder, we have images of all the different generations and multiple images. How many would you say we have? Several hundred now? Yeah. So consider that all free and clear for you guys to use as well. Okay. So let's look at that just a little bit. First of all, it's important to understand the generations that exist out there. First of all, we're looking primarily today at millennials, Gen X, boomers, and the silent or the traditionalist generation. And their ages are, right now, millennials are 22 to 37 and so forth. And we know that the years actually blur a little bit, right, Helen?
That's right.
Because I still consider myself to be a millennial in some respects.
At heart.
And get treated that way sometimes. And then Gen Z is coming right behind them. So they are 21, and they are a force to be reckoned with as well. So we're going to talk a fair amount of time about the millennial generation, and that's because of these following reasons. First of all, if we take a look at generational spending online, and we look at generational time spent online, millennials are top of the list. 67% of millennials prefer to shop online. 56% of Gen Xers, not that much difference, and 41% baby boomers and so forth. But millennials and Gen Xers are spending 6 hours a week shopping. And the reason we bring up the shopping is this is related to their financial picture and what they're doing with their finances. So it relates to how often they're actually engaging with financial institutions. Right, Helen?
That's right.
Great. So let's look at a couple of interesting articles about that. So if you're planning to engage millennials, and you should, and I don't have the chart here, I believe I spoke to it in detail last time. Millennials are our largest consuming generation, and they actually are outspending all other generations, and therefore they also have a lot more financial needs than others. And it's important to note that millennials are a little bit tainted. Only 6% of millennials in the U.S. consider online advertising to be credible. And why is that? Do you know why that is? Now, Helen is making motions, but she's not sure why that. It's because they have been attacked with, if you will,
too much information.
Well, that and aggressive ads that aren't relevant, and that's a big problem. And so what they respond to, and we'll talk a little bit more about that, is they want to hear success stories from other buyers, not necessarily advertisements. So
think about that when you are creating your ad.
That's right.
You know, that targets the millennials.
And I wonder if our case study has this in it. Hint. Okay. And finally,
you know, the millennials have most life events facing them. So
they do.
A lot of them, they're getting out of college, they're buying their first home, they're getting their first car, and those types of things. So that's where you can, you know, show them that you're a community.
Exactly.
How you can service them going forward in their life.
That's exactly right. And we talked about it last time that the financial industry has been late to the industry on digital advertising and marketing. And that's a good thing, because as they have now employed digital marketing techniques, they have used intelligent digital marketing, and the messaging is now relevant. So actually, the millennials, if we just did an FI-related type review, I bet you would find that upwards in the 70–80% of millennials consider online advertising to be credible from their financial institution. Okay, so interesting also that millennials are actually completely overloaded with information. So we know that they're on their mobile devices necessarily all day long, and they're looking at a lot of different things. And so where did the birth of emojis come from, Helen?
They just want to be able to express an emotion just with one character.
That's right.
Or one image.
So this article again talks about keep it visual. Use images to display information so they can consume it quickly, because their generation is actually the most overloaded with information, and all the other generations are less. So
if your ads have a lot of text on them, they might just ignore them, as opposed to having something that's going to grab them.
That's right.
They're going to with a nice image.
They're going to scan for the image and a few, one or two bold words. And you know, we have seen several of our customers begin to use emojis inside of their ads. So think about that. And also, this is a kind of I know it's outside of the world kind of thing for our conversation here, but this is an article I ran across recently, and this is St. Jude's General Children's Hospital also determining how to engage millennials, and it's actually a LinkedIn report. So I couldn't get the link to it, but if you guys go to LinkedIn and do a search for St. Jude's Hospital, you'll find this report. And what they determined is that millennials are easy to reach, yet difficult to keep engaged. No surprise there. Again, that relates to information overload. I want something now. Who's going to give it to me? That sort of thing. But they found that if they delivered a message that created an emotional, the engagement stayed longer. And they also noted there's no one-size-fits-all for millennials. So you can't create just one, I'll say, campaign and go after millennials and think you've got them all, because they're all very
It might be a case of you met one millennial, you've met one millennial.
That's right. Thank you, Ellen. But the result is, if you use emotion in your advertisement and you tell them how they can participate and make a difference in the world, it has a big impact. So think about that, and we've seen some of that in the past. And I go back to, for all of you guys that are regulars each month, I have the big shout out to Andrews Federal Credit Union. Go watch last month's webinar, or the month before, the month before, my favorite ad that they use for traditionalists. So millennials love what? Helen?
They love videos.
They love videos. And again, it's that quick snippet of information that capture the attention. And it's interesting, this article talks about if you use mobile videos, you're 5 times more engaging than standard banners. And actually in the finance industry, they say that you're actually 6 times more engaged. Millennials will do that. And why is that so important? Is because we have that capability now with HTML5. So let me make one final word on engagement from the industry. This is a great article. This is really a must read as well. And just replace banking with FI, but the evolution of financial institutions should involve understanding and relationship of a wide scope of data in the context of each consumer's journey. And again, that's why we talk about millennials, because their journey is just beginning. That means a mortgage should not be viewed as a point-in-time transaction, one and done kind of thing, but as a life event that encapsulates many other financial and lifestyle events that a financial institution should address and should consider for that customer or member. So great point. And in this world of digitalization, we do need to always look at more data sources, and I know many of you are, to augment in to be a part of your relevant targeting of offers. So we feel like we do a good job helping you do that. So that was our industry update. So this is our tips and tricks component and our pledge to you. And this is related to, just as a reminder, your success is our #1 priority. And so what we'd like to do is do a review of capabilities to help optimize and support your reporting and your analytics, and help you remember that your members and customers want to know about your great products and services, and they're only coming to you online today, not only, but generally online. And so they are thinking about you every single day. We know millennial mobile members and customers are actually
prefer online.
True, but every day they're touching you. I saw an article recently that said a customer member actually will spend, in the course of a week, 50 minutes online with their FI, whereas an FI will only spend 50 seconds during that week working with their online capabilities. So that we know that's got to pick up. All right, so let's go through those, and Helen's going to help me quite a bit. So we actually have 6 areas. And I say top. Here's our 6. My apologies. Areas that we want to make sure you're familiar with and consider during your optimizations. First of all, lead distribution. We're going to talk about relevant offers, campaign prioritization, rotating banners, campaign freshness, and of course, taking a peek at your analytics. So first of all, lead distribution. So many of you know how important it is to distribute your clicks, which we call leads, to the organizations inside of your FI so they can do some follow-up. It's also important that you assign your product code to each campaign so that you can, right, Ellen?
That's right. So for any banner or campaign that you have out there that will generate an account open or could potentially leave an account open, you would assign product code. And that's important so you can track, when it actually does close, which, how that impression or click influenced that account to be closed.
That's right. And we're going to help you. So in our recent release last month, you can't actually publish a campaign without seeing a warning message if a product code assignment has not been made. So that's important to follow an impression all the way through to a sales transaction. So don't forget that. We also have the capability to not necessarily collect on informational ads. So remember that. And we're going to go through a lot of this. So if you guys have any questions, please reach out to us. We're happy to get on the line with you, talk about it.
And so an example of that might be you wouldn't want to, if you're not going to collect information about, who is going to come to an event, or you might have a shred day or some kind of general services or thing that you've got
Happy
there.
Memorial Day.
Happy Memorial Day. You don't want to collect metrics on that, so you just click that off.
That's right. And so you can stop the capture of the impressions with no clicks related to it. We also have the email notification off to lending, perhaps. When someone clicks, we have the click to email capability back to a member or customer. when they do click, thanking them for that engagement. And then we're going to take a peek at the export reports, and now we have the schedule reports. So just as a reminder, everybody knows under any one of our graphs, under the clicks section, you can do it at either, but certainly under the clicks, press the button within that time frame that you choose. It will download to you a list of members directly to your workstation that clicked in that time period. So all of these, looks like over 500 clicks on this particular account were downloaded as a part of it. But we also have the schedule report. So under reports, schedule report. And Helen, isn't this the first of many?
This is the first of many. Right now, the only schedule report you can do is your click report or your lead report, but in the future, we'll be adding more kind of reports you can schedule. And all of these reports, whether you're doing a follow-up, a click to email, or you're doing a schedule report, or you're doing it manually, it's going to be a personal preference for your FI.
That's right.
It's how you work. You think about which, which way works best for you. That's when you choose.
But this was our most requested because so many of our customers were on a daily, multi-day, weekly actual process to download the reports and hand them off to lending. Now you can do it with a schedule report. It will bring up this form. You can name it anything, and you can create your recipients and add, for instance, it comes to you, it comes to Beth in lending, it comes to Joe in lending, that sort of thing. I'm going to do this every day, perhaps, or weekly on Fridays at 8 a.m., and I'm going to encrypt it with a password as well. So when that happens, Beth receives on that day at that particular time their report. They can, with password protection, open it and have access to all of their the leads as well.
And the beauty of this is, you as marketing professionals, you don't have to get into the application every day to go generate that report and send it off to them.
That's right.
It automatically goes to them.
That's right. We got a bunch of shout outs from when that came online. So remember that. So number 2 is offers. So data freshness. So it's important, and we give you that indicator on the dashboard how fresh your data is. So make sure your data is fresh with us, that we're getting it and receiving it. And because that's so incredibly important, because when your members do take out an auto loan based on an auto loan campaign, you want that ad to drop out of their stack, so you're not wasting their time, your time, that sort of thing, right?
And, yes, and we want to give you an update on this. We recommend updating your data to us monthly at a minimum, but if it's more appropriate for you to upload it daily, you can do that. And we are going to be sending out reminders on the 5th and the 20th of the month if your data is over 30 days.
We didn't receive. And it's a friendly reminder because we care about your reporting and your member and customer engagement. Okay, and then finally, target ads. We've talked about this certainly, and we have a framework we suggest. So again, consider that, and this is a little foreshadowing of the case study that's about to come up on board. Number 3 is campaign prioritization. We all know under the pull down of settings, if you select this, now you can drag over individual campaigns, and that means that it will be seen first every time a qualified member or customer logs in and is targeted for that campaign. So really increases the impressions and drives responsiveness. And again, this is real time. You could do this, right, Helen?
That's right. That's right. As soon as you set that and save it, that'll start working, so their stocks will be readjusted.
Right.
So they'll just show that prioritized campaign first. One thing I do want to mention about this one is, depending on your online banking platform provider, you might want to do different strategies here. So, if you're only able to see one banner on one page, as opposed to having rotation or any of that on, you just need to be a little judicious about how you prioritize. So you don't want to prioritize everything.
That's right.
You want to have your campaigns. You might want to set up rotation, but want to prioritize 1 or 2. If you've got a lot of generational breakdown, so if you've got a lot of campaigns out there, let's just say you had 20 campaigns, but there's not a lot of overlap with people in the target, then you can prioritize more than if you have big overlaps.
That's right. That's right.
In ages. So.
That's correct. And we can, for any of you guys on the line today, we can generate an overlap report, which will tell you how the overlapping is occurring in your in your campaigns. So shoot us an email if you'd like us to run that overlap report for you, okay? So that's a great new added capability. Rotating banners. So this is a great way, and there's a couple of thoughts here. So it's under, we're going to change this title from multiple ad parameters to rotating banners. But again, it opens this form, and you can say, I want up to, what this is,
up to 6 ads to rotate every 7 seconds.
That's right. And I want some navigation to be shown inside. I want them to be circles or arrows, and I want it to be a color. And then they can step through their ads while it's displayed on the screen.
And that's right. Like right now, when you have multiple ad parameters and you set this, this applies to both online banking and mobile, if you've got both of those apps through DeepTarget. However, in the future, we've been listening to you, so we want to be able to segregate that and be able to set rotation separately for online banking from mobile banking.
Imagine this space here saying I want one setting for mobile and one setting where will be. And for all of you guys that are NetTeller today, we do have a project that has been kicked off inside of Jack Henry, where they are going to correct and therefore support rotating banners here with their later this summer release. So we do have committal from them, and we have got resources applied. So we're looking forward to that. So that'll help all of you guys out with your responsiveness as well. Okay, and campaign freshness. So we humans, first of all, we tune out ads, and we know that. And you guys, we've suggested watching trends, and after 30 days or so, do a quick check on your trends of responsiveness. If they're low, go in there and take that ad. This took me all of literally about 30 seconds to take this ad and move the image from left to right and change the color of the text and republish, and that wakes it right back up for all of your users. So consider doing that. That'll make a big difference. And then consider movement in your ads. So when you create them, we can certainly always, as always, support animated GIF. Now we've got HTML5. So HTML5 has a whole new suite of capabilities we've talked about. And I know some of you guys, we've got about 5 of our customers that have engaged us actively utilizing HTML5. Nobody has implemented video yet, but remember that comment we had earlier about video? Nor have they used sound, and I would suggest you be careful with using sound. But we have some that are utilizing some gamification research, and then also multiple call to actions. So this is a great one. So working with Eglin, who was a case study last month, I believe, was one of our case studies, who are one of our larger accounts. They've already implemented a multi-call to action. Click here to get your approved loan going, read auto buying guide, and take a look at our rates and terms and conditions.
And one thing I want to mention is, some of you struggle with some of your ads because you need to put your terms and conditions and all that kind of stuff on there, and you know that that's going to clutter your ads, and the smaller your ad is, the smaller the text is. So this is a way that they could offload that text onto a separate click, so they could view that, and it's there for the person to look at, but it's not there on their initial look at the ad. That's
right. So Rocky and Adam, they're at Eglin Federal Credit Union, have done a great job and have significantly deployed a bunch of HTML5 ads. And so I'm sure they would entertain anyone reaching out to them to discuss it and their results. And their results have been really, really good so far. Okay. And we showed you last time, I won't show you again today, we created our first, if you will, gamified one, where it was actually click the rate, click the shell where the bead resides, and uncover your rate. And so that's going to be, if you guys want to have access to this code, let us know, and we'll be happy to share it with you, if not only example, perhaps even utilizing it yourselves. And Helen, more information coming on HTML5?
Yeah, one of the things is that I don't want to say it's a white paper, but we've written a document about how to use HTML5, and if you're interested in that, just email our support at deeptarget.com and we'll get that to you.
That's right. Very good.
We'll probably be putting up a banner in the DeepTarget application login, so you can just click there and request it that way.
That's right. So it's just a matter of when you're creating that banner, clicking this button here, which will call for an upload of the zip file of your HTML code, and then you're off and running. Okay. So, but reviewing the documentation is a must, and in fact, getting some sample code from us would be, which is in the documentation, is very important. Okay, very good. And the last one is analytics. So the ones that make us most excited. And I just want to remind everybody real quick about these, in fact, these 5: dashboard, campaign category, individual campaign performance report, accounts open, and monthly management. So here's our dashboard, and just as a reminder, this is our KEI, our key engagement indicator, but it's for your last calendar month. And it's a great way of seeing how many users, unique users, it takes for you to get one click. So phenomenal responsiveness, and of course we have rankings, and I'll show you that at the end of the presentation today. We also have in the last 7 days, this is a really important scorecard here, number of impressions, the most viewed campaigns in the last 7 days, which can be directly impacted by prioritization. So it's important for you to pay attention to that. And then finally, today, here are my total number of impressions and my total number of clicks, right? So that gives you a great online indication of performance. And then our campaign category report, which we revamped to shift everything based on number of impressions left to right, and therefore responsiveness, so you get a quick view of that. And again, you can drill down, you can pick a particular category and go and look at it individually. And again, remember all the export capabilities as well. And then our monthly management report, which I know most of you, many of you guys are taking into your monthly management team meetings or even sharing in, with your boards and expanding on it as well. But it's a 5-month look back per channel, the number of total impressions, unique users logged in, unique clicks, KEI associated with it, total leads, sales transactions, and the sales transactions are expanded into each one individually per product code. And we're going to augment this chart. This is your lead trends, or exactly your lead numbers over the past 5 months, but we're going to add your sales transactions and furthermore on it as well. That will be very helpful. Okay, so lots of analytics available, and I can't help but throw this in. We are ADA compliant today, and under the campaign settings of each campaign, you have this field, which allows you to input the text needed to be read to any ADA
person with a screen reader.
Person with a screen reader, that's correct. And so believe me, I know a ton of you guys have already actively implemented the text across your campaign ads, but remember this, it's very important in today's world. Okay. All right. So they're excited about the case study that we're about to show, and if you'll give me 1 second, I'm going to sneak out here onto our login screen and see if I can locate our secret people out here. And Evie, Evie, are you out there?
I am. Can you hear me?
Can.
Awesome.
Is Greg with you? Do you have
I think
Greg on?
Greg is on the line, on a different line here.
Okay, I'm seeking him out. Don't see him, so we're going to go with you, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
Awesome. So our case study of the month is with Cascade Community Credit Union, Evie Tipton, the marketing coordinator, and Greg Holt, the marketing manager. Were gracious enough to allow us to share the details of a campaign that they are currently running, and we've only taken a slice of it, April 1st through 30th. It's an auto loan campaign to both their online banking and mobile channels, and they created 4 targeted campaigns. So Evie, you can jump in at any time. I'm just going to step through these slides, the results that you have. First of all, they did 4 campaigns, each one of them showing the, from, as you saw earlier, and I'll show you, but category level with a reach of approximately 21,000 of their members, 18 to 25, which we will call the millennial is 2,700. And then
We had an overlapping one.
there's a bit of overlap here into Gen X, which was for over 4,000, and then greater than 45 is more or less the high end of the Gen X and the baby boomers and so forth. So the campaign framework that they chose is this one here, going after the auto loans. And so a very nice review of that. And the boomers is plus because it also includes the traditionalists or the silent. And at a total reach of all of those, a total result, taking a look at the month of April alone, the campaign category report in total for auto loan category was 7,520 actual unique users that saw an impression, had an impression, and 208 clicks. So first of all, Evie, was that a good response in your mind?
Yeah, at first we were trying to struggle to get about like 1% clicks, unique clicks for the like average impressions. So anything over that I'm happy with, and it's just been going up for us. In January, we had an upgrade to our mobile app, so we were able to share one with that and be able to show banners on the app as well, which has definitely increased our like unique impressions and unique clicks. So it's just interesting to see that comparison that we can look at on the charts for the different campaign categories to see kind of the trends of what people are on more and what they're clicking, which platform they're clicking on more. It kind of varies between online and mobile, but mobile's definitely like either surpassing online or very close. So that's kind of interesting for us to see. And yeah, I don't know. With the auto loan.
Yeah, go. So what we did next is we actually moved into just the auto loan category and looking at the campaigns across all categories. And so this was if you will, all of the individuals targeted, ages greater than 18, and then the boomers, millennials, and Gen X. And so actually the boomers had the highest and therefore the best KEI. Did that surprise you, Evie? Or did you?
Yeah, I think so, but in a way, I guess, based off of your earlier presentation, maybe it makes some sense that millennials are skeptical of ads. So I don't know if with that information, if it's too surprising, but it is kind of surprising that they're more engaging and more responsive in the higher demographics.
That's right. Well,
that might be people have a midlife crisis and they need a new car.
Well, let's see at what Evie and Greg used actually to entice the individuals. So this is Evie and Greg's ad that they displayed for all the higher level category of auto loan promotion. And it's a great ad for a couple of reasons. One, it says, remember going back to the stories related earlier, my loan officer, Kayleen, was super friendly and made the loan approval process very simple. So I'm not sure who's the customer or who's Kayleen here, Evie, but
Kayleen's
story.
The redhead.
Okay, on the right here. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is somebody they're familiar with?
Exactly.
With.
Exactly.
Right.
So you told us.
Yeah.
You've shown smiling.
Yeah,
people.
we're using familiar faces. We are a fairly small credit union. We're just in like the county. We only have 3 branches, but we have loan officers and a lot of staff just in general, member service representatives that have been there for many years. We have some loan officers that have been there for over 30 years. And Kayleen's one of those that has been there a couple decades. So she's definitely a recognizable face in our community. And I think that's really resonated with a lot of our members, that they like to see those familiar faces and not just some stock image or just some random actors or anything like that. So yeah,
Exactly.
we use those across a lot of different platforms. We want to be as consistent as possible with our message. So you'll see the same picture and quote on our billboards, we have window graphics on each of our branches. We have lobby posters inside and lobby TVs that show these. Commercials are all the same. So, and obviously like social media and all that kind of stuff. So basically every sort of platform is going to have the same message, the same design theme, just to be consistent so that we're making sure we get that point across.
Excellent. No, that's great. And let me just add, and we're going to show the other ads here in a moment. All of these impressions here, there is a lot of duplicate, actually, even though it's unique for this ad. Many of these members also will see this ad, and then they'll see their individually targeted ad. So it's a nice, actually, combination of both views. So let's take a look. So Boomers, remember, was the highest responder. A great image of, I'm going to say, looks like, an older couple, and I'll have to admit I have a hammock in my backyard, so it fits the Boomer lifestyle, I'll say. And Helen, what about, and Evie, what about the?
And for this, when you'll see the other ads too, is that they won't say what space, but it's going to be personalized. So when the member sees that ad, it's going to have their first name there before it says sit back and relax. So Evie should say Evie, sit back and relax.
So don't forget about, you can personalize it with the first name of each of your members or customers. And in this case, if this were Bob, it would say Bob, and the ad self-adjusts the text, and Bob, sit back and relax with affordable auto loan from CCCU. So great Boomer ad, and that has also had a bunch of a real positive response. And then here comes the millennials next, and I think millennials love to keep secrets or tell secrets. I think that's part of that message, right, Evie? And great image and personalized as well. So
yeah, I mean, I don't know if that was necessarily my thought about the secret thing, but yeah. So as a millennial myself, it's nice to, I think, see something a little bit more personalized. Like you were saying before, with the with like millennials not really seeing credibility in online ads, I would probably agree with that. But having a little bit more personalization, adding in the name, I think everybody wants to feel kind of special. So feeling like something specific for you and targeted to you is nice. I think there's always going to be people that might be a little creeped out by that. Like, what? How do they know my name? How can they do that? We've definitely gotten some response, just a little bit response about maybe the creep factor on that. But most people, I would say, respond to having something more personalized and showing their name and showing, like you've always said in all these webinars, showing people that look like you in your age demographic.
That's right. And I'd have the comment you had about the people wondering how you knew their name, I bet that came from the older generation, honestly. I think
yeah, usually. Yeah. I think most people under probably 40 or maybe even older at this point think it's kind of normal to have stuff targeted specifically to you. They kind of expect it, and if you don't have it, might think like you're behind times.
That's right. And how could you not know that about me? How do you not know me, kind of thing?
Well, that's another strategy too for when you create your ads. So it may be with your traditionalist ads, maybe you don't want to personalize theirs, and you want to personalize the other one. So that's done by banner by banner.
So actually that's a great A/B test. Launch one without. You've launched this gentleman and his wife here, one with personalized, one without. See what the response is. Okay.
And
then finally,
I was going to say I recently started adding in the personalization with the name, and I think our numbers have gone up. I don't see that they've stayed stagnant or gone down. I think that they've only gone up, and like I mentioned before, we have had the addition of mobile, which is added to the additional like impressions and clicks and everything, but I do think that overall adding in the name has helped us.
Exactly. So yeah, and we could even work with you to do a little bit of a study on that. I think that would be interesting as well. So great. So you talked about mobile. Let's step over into the mobile look. And sure enough, even though the impressions here at the higher level campaign are roughly the same, and the clicks are roughly the same, here on the individual subcategory targeted, the impressions are a little bit less, certainly in the boomers, but and the clicks are a little less. So that's not surprising here. But on these two, you got double the impressions, triple the clicks, and this is in line. So yeah. So honestly, I'm going to guess you have generally an older demographic, Evie. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, so it's actually a fairly equal result. It's interesting. This is the millennial one. A lot more clicks on the millennial in the mobile space than online banking, and that's just by sheer numbers of it. But it's also noticeable, or I pointed out, that your best overall result is actually in the mobile space for boomers. So that's interesting. So things to consider there as well. So let's keep going. As Evie said earlier, which I think is great, this is, I think you guys, the success you saw from the auto loans influenced doing it for consumer and actually commercial. And I saw it, you're doing it across the board, actually placing a customer with your loan officers. And I think that's great. Great.
Yeah, we have about 5 different campaigns with this testimonial theme. Started with commercials, so we have one for consumer loans, which kind of talks more about RVs. So you'll see with our DeepTarget banners, we have this version with consumer loans, and then we have RV loans that are like we did with auto loans, that are split up into age demographics, so they kind of go hand in hand together. We have a couple different ones for commercial lending. We've been trying to push that a lot the last year because it's a new department for us. And we have the auto loans. We have like a personal/business account one. So we use those, like I said before, across all different types of platforms for marketing, our website, social media, branch posters and advertisements and all that. So
that's great. That is a great best practice. So great. So finally, just taking a look at just, again, the month of April, and we know it's going on. You had 252,000 impressions for these campaigns focused in the auto loan category, 7,520 total unique impressions, users that saw them, and then 208 total clicks, which in fact results in that KEI of 36 members to receive a click. And total accounts opened just in April are 52. So
that's pretty amazing. And we say it's so far because some may not be completed
yeah,
yet.
If you're still running the campaign, you know, if you had a new member perhaps come in at the end of the month and was interested, their transaction would be the following month. So even after a campaign closes, we see a trend of continuing actual account opens even after the campaign's been turned off, just because of them, it resonates in their mind, or they start the process and it takes a little longer. So fantastic work. So Evie, thank you so much for allowing us to show your results. Great work.
Thank you.
Tell Greg we appreciated his support as well. I'm going to mute you now, just so you're everybody is also muted. So thank you again. And then let's see, we're going to keep going. So we've got some fantastic couple of things to point out here. So we're announcing our ad of the month for May 2016. So hold your breath, get ready, Helen. Who could it be? Oh my gosh, is it actually Evie and Greg? Unbelievable, great. So I want to point out they're also their KEI, their total KEI off their dashboard is 18 users overall to get a click. fantastic sets of ads, Evie and Greg, and so we're so excited to award you guys the ad of the month for May. And keep up the great work, and we're going to watch you as your success continues. And there may be others that might want to reach out to you as well to understand some of your results. But great job, one more time. Way to go, way to go. Fantastic. All right, and then finally, our digital marketing superstar for May 2018 is actually coast to coast, Richard, the coach. Look at that number, 9 users logged in last month to get a click. Unbelievable results, just fantastic effort. They're not a huge member of customer of ours, but the results do not lie. 9 members to get a click on average. Overall, that's fantastic. So a big wow goes out to Richard and his team at Coast to Coast Financial Credit Union. Great job. We'll be in touch here shortly and get plaques out to both of you guys for great effort. I want to send out a big thank you to everybody. This is our April report of all of our customers and the results that they're having. 60% of you guys are in the outstanding, 24 excellent, 9% good, and it's just going to continue to improve. Our one little caveat is we got to get net teller rotating banners going, and that's going to be a big positive stand for a number of you guys. So great work to everybody. Thank you guys for all of your support, and please reach out to us if you have any questions about the content. Right, Helen?
That's right. If you got content of that, if you want a customer review,
that's right.
A support call.
That's exactly right. Let us know, HTML5, that sort of thing. So thank you guys for all of that, all your efforts. Stay in touch with us, and everybody have a wonderful end of May as we go forward. Thank you guys so much. Take care now. Bye-bye.